Right, hello folks, welcome back to the channel, and particularly all you science fiction book fans out there. Well, since I did one of these, I picked up quite a lot of nice vintage paperbacks this time around from various places. Got a few to show you, so just before we start, just want to talk about vintage paperbacks. Now, the notion of vintage varies widely amongst booktubers that I follow. In particular, my definition of vintage is anything up to and including 1979, with 80 onwards being contemporary. That's just my opinion. But people like the outlaw bookseller I follow very closely, who knows a lot more about books than I do. He begs to differ on that one. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you. I'll tell you where I am on vintage, or the definition of, shall we say. Right, so we'll plough right in. Now these next dozen, I got in a nice little bundle from eBay, very cheap, about just over £1 each, which you can't complain about these days. So I'll show you what we got. Now I've been trying to get a copy of this for some little while. It doesn't turn up too often. This is, of course, a later edition than the one I would have preferred, but to get any copy is fine. This is the first UK printing from 1972, by Mayflower Books. So yeah, I mean, Jack Vance is very, very popular with paperback readers and collectors, and very, very nice condition as well. Right, this one not so much. Lloyd Bickle Jr., The World Menders. I don't think I've got too many books by him. It's an Arrow book. Got a slight bit of damage, well, a bit of damage on the back there, but that's not anything that's going to bother me too much. There again, it's looks like a first English UK printing from 1975. I don't have too many books by Lloyd Bickle Jr. Right, this is the sort of stuff I like, good old American editions. Now, a lot of these, I didn't realise, I should remember this from the old days, but I didn't realise a lot of these American editions did come over here with an English price sticker on. There doesn't seem to be anything ever been on this one. But that's a nice Del Rey. Inherit the Stars, James Hogan. I remember this. I had this back in the day. It's one of those that for some reason sticks in my mind. And that is this is a third printing from 1978. So we're just on the edge of vintage by my definition anyway. Now, this is the reason I mainly bought this lot, well, apart from them being cheap. I mentioned that Jack Vance was hard to find in bundles online. Well, Alfred Best is even worse, and I've always wanted a copy of Extra. I've read his other two famous books, and I wanted some more, so I was lucky enough to pick Extra up. So I don't think this is too old, this one. Yeah, it's Methuen, first English printing from 1976, first paperback. That is. So yes, very pleased with that one, and of course the condition is not too bad at all. Right, there's another science fiction writer. I've heard of him. I probably had this one back in when I was collecting, but I haven't got any books by him. Out of the Mouth of the Dragon. Sphere Books. It looks fairly vintage, yeah. First printing, UK paperback, 1972. Again, in not bad shape. So this one not quite so. Lawrence Jennifer, another author I haven't got any books of, I don't think. But this is an Ace edition. Not in amazing condition, but it doesn't bother me, as I've said in the past. It's got the little remaindered slice that they take out of, for some reason, out of remaindered books, but it's an American edition. Might have seen the light of day over here. Is it the first printing? Let's have a looky. Yes, first Ace printing, 1979, which is just on the cusp of vintage. Right, he's a very popular author, whichever you want. Andre Norton, Which World? I think I've got one other of her books in door publications, but I think I have a couple of hers in English editions as well. But that's a very nice cover. It's another Ace edition. That was obviously an import because it's got a sticker with the English price on rather than a publisher sticker, or a distributor sticker, I should say. And that particular one is a first Ace printing, 1978. So there again, a bit later on in the vintage calendar. Right, I remember this one. You can tell by the style of cover that's an old book, and of course the giveaway is the old money, which a lot of you might not remember. 1971 decimal came in, so this is certainly pre that, and as I say, you can tell from the cover anyway. Let's see where it originates from. Yeah, that's first UK printing from August 1966. So that's nicely vintage, nearly 50 years old. Outpost Mars by Cyril Judd. There again, some stuff in here that I don't have any by these particular authors. Same with this fellow, John Kippax. This is part of a series where No Stars Guide. Not in too bad nick. It's only got 40p on, so I would imagine it's early 70s. Yeah, 1975, first UK paperback printing. That'd be John Kippax, whoever he might be. Ah yes, here's another Andre Norton spell. This is the one I mentioned that I have in the door. I'm collecting the door series. But this is an English one. Such a nice cover as well. I will keep that, even though I already have it in door. It's in nice condition, and it's English, as I say. So I'll hang on to it. And that is actually 1978. Looks like a first UK printing, paperback printing. And then the last couple were by James White. I just bought a lot with 3 James White book in, but neither of these are in. So Star Surgeon, I think that's one of his more famous books. Now obviously this has been in a second-hand bookshop because it was sold at one point for $3.99, so I got it £3 cheaper than that. Again, it's an early 60s one, I would imagine. Well, later 60s. 1967, and it's the first UK printing. And the other one was Ambulance Ship, which I think is quite a well-known book of his. I wouldn't be surprised if this one is creeping towards the 1980s, but we'll have a little looky here. Yeah, I'm right. 1980 actually. So it's just on the borderline of vintage and contemporary. So that was that little lot, which I was very pleased with. Right now, this next little lot. These came from the only charity bookshop in my area, which is a proper bookshop. It's Amnesty International, and I managed to pick up a few nice titles from there. Now, particularly pleased with this first two because I collect these Corgi SF Library editions. They're very distinctive with these sort of like textured. You can hear the ripples in the texture. This is actually actually a duplicate of one I've got, but mine is very, very badly leaning on the spine. Really annoys me. It's the only one that sticks out from the rest. So yeah, I was pleased to reacquire that one. These are all a couple of quid each, by the way. Next ones I'm going to show you. And this one, it's looks like a 7th printing, so Arthur Clarke stuff is always in print. This is from 1975. And the other one I got, which I don't have, is Reach for Tomorrow. I did quite a few Arthur Clarkes, excuse me, in these editions. I think I have most of them now, and this will be about the same time period. Right, yeah, another author that I don't have any books by. Lou Cameron, Sibernia. Interesting cover. It's a coronet book. I don't have too many of those actually. I would imagine this one is 70s, yeah, 1973. First UK printing. Right. Now this one is a compendium of Harry Harrison's, I think they call it a triptych, 3 books in one. You can see the titles up there. Yeah, I've never come across this this one in particular. It's a Spectra edition, which I'm not familiar with. Obviously, it's American because I've never heard of it as an English publisher. Not in the greatest of shape, but I don't care. I would imagine it's a bit later, this one. Yeah, this is 87, so it's well into the realms of contemporary. Right, more Arthur Clarke. Best of. I think this was originally a complete book with all of his best of his stuff in, but they've split it into 1 or 2, maybe 3 volumes. Of course, it's best of his short stories, and it's a reprint, second printing from 1975. But as you can see, in perfect shape. Right, I've got a couple of books by Theodore Sturgeon. I don't have too many of his. Hamlin. Science fiction, I like the Hamlin books. As I say, it's been read obviously, but apart from that, not in bad condition, a touch of strange. Not sure where this hails from. It's 1978, so there again, just on the edges of what I consider to be vintage. And another one, this time an American edition. I'll have to try and get that sticker off because it's annoying. It's a Dell book, it's American, apart from that sticker, in near mint condition actually. And I think this will be a later publication. Where are we? First Dell printing, 1980, so obviously a first. US, and yet another by Sturgeon, Golden Helix. Again, in very nice condition, near mint I would say. Again, it's a Dell from the States. Obviously it's been read once or twice, but that's great. Books that to be read. A lot of collectors insist on mint, but not myself. June 1980, so just on the borderlines. And then an author that everybody knows, Frederick Pohl. This is Survival Kit. This is a book of short stories, again in decent shape. And this one is First Granada, 1979. So again on that borderline. Right, I'll just move these out the way so I've got room for the last little batch. Okay, now these I actually ridiculously picked up from a charity shop for 50p each. Now this is one of those contemporary books by Peter Hamilton that run to ridiculous lengths. I mean, this one runs to 760 pages. I mean, look at the state of that. You'd need some patience to read that. The print is fairly big, so. But that is called, what is it, The Temporal Void. Yeah, as I say, it's contemporary. I won't even bother to look at the age because it'll be 2010s or something like that. And then the other 50p book is, I wouldn't normally have bought this, but just for the price, it's a fantasy. The Twilight Herald Book 2. The Twilight Reign. Again, I would imagine it's 2010 to 2015. I'm not going to bother having a look. I mean, these are like £8 books in mint condition for £0.50. You can't really complain, can you? Right, so I bought them in a different charity shop, so they were doing a special deal on paperbacks, as a lot of charity books tend to do now. And this next few I bought from the only dedicated bookshop in my area, which I found only recently. And here's our various prices, but I've taken the labels off, so I'm not sure. I think the bulk of them were £2 each. Yeah, I think in fact all of them were £2 each. Right, that's the second part of the Majipur Chronicles by Silverberg. Lord Valentine's Castle was the first. This is the second. And I have a copy of Lord Valentine's Castle. So it's in absolute mint condition, It's just as it would have been when you picked it up off the shelf back in, let's see, when was it published? 1983. I think it's first UK. Certainly very similar to the cover's very similar to the Lord Valentine's Castle that I have. We had a couple of these. This is the third in the series, so I've got 1, 2, 3. Valentine Pontifex. That will be 1980s as well, so I won't bother looking. And then this is the fifth Sorcerers of Magipur. So I'll need to look for number 4 to make the... I don't know if there were any after number 5. Perhaps some of you fantasy buffs out there can tell me. I haven't looked it up. So that's nearly a full set of those. Right, now there's a nice little collection. Lovely cover, like that one. Nothing flash, but very nice indeed. I don't know if it's a Chris Foss, but I like it. It's Sphere. There again, it's in it's in wonderful condition. So £2 for these, I don't mind paying. And it's from 1976. Okie dokie. Right, here's an author I like. I haven't got many of his books. Norman Spinrad. No Direction Home. Fontana. You don't see too many Fontana science fiction books around. Here again, it's in smashing condition. This one is... Let's have a look. It looks like... yeah, it's a book of short stories. I don't think I have any short story collections by him. This is first UK printing from 1977. Interesting cover. Then we roll on to some more Arthur Clarke. I think I have The Sands of Mars in by another publisher, but I like that one. Maybe I haven't. Arthur Clarke did so many books, you kind of see them and think, oh, I must have that one, but maybe I haven't got that one, but anyway, it's a second printing from 1971. Right, this is one of those that I've picked a few up of. It's the Women's Press Science Fiction Library that they did. So I think it's the third one I've got now. I think there's about, well, eight or so of these that I've seen advertised. And obviously they're all by lady authors. I've never heard of this particular lady here, but I decided to try and make a little collection of those. Now here's a few more, a couple of more contemporary books. John Scalzi. Now the reason I picked these up is because I read his Hugo winner Red Shirts. Talked about it on the channel some little while ago, and I enjoyed that so much. I thought, okay, seeing nice contemporary editions for a couple of quid, I'll pick up a couple of more by him. This is part of a series. It's the third in a series, so I'll have to be looking for some of the others. And then this is one totally unrelated by John Scalzi. Mint condition. There again, I think it might be all part of that series of that one I just showed you, so I'll have to investigate that one. Now, here's a couple. No, here's one that I've been looking for quite some time, but not necessarily in this by this publisher. I remember having, I think, the old Berkeley American editions of this, The Drowned World by Ballard. I mean, this one's in absolutely superlative condition. Of course, an oversized paperback, which always annoys me because they don't fit on the shelves. And this is by Everyman Fiction. I'm not familiar with that particular publisher, and this is from 1983. So I would rather have the old vintage editions of it, but there you go. It's one that I remember reading a long time ago and enjoying, so I might reread that at some point. Now this is an interesting one. It's the only hardback I managed to lay my hands on. Romance of the Equator by Brian Aldiss. Best fantasy stories. Oh, I know he's done a few fantasy series. I've got 3 of his books. I'm just trying to. My memory tends to fade with age, but he did a series of 3 anyway. Heliconia, I think it was. Heliconia, Spring, Summer, and Winter. Yeah, 3-part series. I wasn't aware that he did much other fantasy, but when I saw this, I thought, well, that must be quite rare, because I've never come across anything like it. This one was slightly more expensive at £3, and it looks like a first printing from 1989. I mean, I've looked it up on eBay, and there's a few copies around for £5 or £6 mark. But of course, you never know what sort of condition you get them in from eBay, and this one is very nice. So yeah, Romance of the Equator by Brian Aldiss. Nice cover as well, actually. Reminds me of Hannah's book, but I don't think it is. I might be wrong. Right, okay, folks, that's my little collection of pickups for early April. As I said to you last time, we're getting very close to my 200th video now. That spans about 8 years, so yeah, I mean, it's no big deal for a lot of YouTubers, but it is for me, because I worked it out, I only on average do one about every fortnight, so yeah, 200 is a bit of a milestone. So I'll have to try and dream up something a bit special for that. But in the meantime, as usual, I thank you for watching, and do all the necessary things, sharing and commenting, more comments please, liking and whatever you want to do. And I don't know if the 200th is my next one or the one after, but whichever, I will see you then. Bye-bye now.